integration is power. The power to walk down never before known paths. The power to drive the transforming world today. The power to break the shackles of conventional and conquering it. We enable you to break the old. We are the Gujarat Technological University, the International Innovative University. Since its inception over a decade ago, GTU has been empowering young and curating minds to realize their true potential. Over 4 lakh inspired students are enrolled with one of the premier academic universities in India. GTU, an intellectual destination for all those who seek not just to imbibe knowledge, but to excel in every endeavor. With more than 450 affiliated colleges in its fold operating across 5 zones of the state, GTU is an accomplished educational administrative body. Its motto is to change and challenge conventional thinking, replacing it by innovative acumen.
Today, Gujarat Technological University is the preferred destination for students from all over the Gujarat for technical education. GTU strive for innovation, research and startups which create job and entrepreneurship.
Widening the vision to make this world a better place are distinctive disciplines like engineering, architecture, management, pharmacy, and computer application are designed keeping in mind the transforming era of speed and technology. GTU is the first ever university in India that pioneered to inculcate design engineering in 6 semesters of undergraduate engineering program. Our vivid curriculum allows our students to cultivate a mindset of innovation, enhancing their skills. GTU offers 1 to 6 years programs in diploma, bachelor's, master's and doctorate. GTU has established 3 diverse postgraduate schools in academic year 2017-18, approved by AICTE and PCI. In the wake of increasing demand for cybersecurity, GTU has started PG courses to prepare competent manpower specializing in cybersecurity and mobile technology. These courses run under GTU School of Engineering and Technology with an intake of 30 students in each course. With an aim to contribute in the field of medicine by assuring quality and safety of drugs, vaccines and other biological products, GTU has established School of Pharmacy, offering M.Pharm in drug regulatory affairs. Our distinctive management programs infused with in-depth research like MPhil in business management gives a competitive edge to our students over their peers. To deliver quality education in the field of global business, GSMS started MBA in International Business, focusing to maximize the global opportunities for our students to perform exponentially in 7 international markets. We understand the ever-advancing technology and ever-changing time, and we adapt accordingly by offering distinguished online e-courses so that boundaries in time no longer hinder your aspirations. Excellence is to do a common thing in an uncommon way. GTU understands this belief and has taken every step towards making it a reality. Partnering with Bosch Rexroth India Limited, GTU envisions to actualize an industry institute partnership by making our students industry ready and to bridge the much needed technology gaps between industry and academics. The first ever Center of Excellence is currently functioning at Vishwakarma Government Engineering College, Chamkheda, Ahmedabad, equipped with the cutting-edge facilities. Global is the new local. Going the extra mile for our students is what we do. we have a dedicated Department of International Relations to manage, expand and enhance international relations and activities of the university. We have collaborations with more than 30 foreign universities. DIR aims to provide an exposure to Indian students for international pedagogical environment in their academic specialization. International Experience Program (IEP) under GTU is one of the largest students' mobility program by the Technological Universities of India. More than 1,500 students have been benefited through IEP since its inception in 2011. Under IEP, GTU has collaborated with the universities of US, Canada, Germany and Bulgaria, offering a unique opportunity to the students and enhancing their skills with a global perspective. More than 350 students participate in summer program for 6 to 8 weeks every year. Foreign Student Cell is dedicatedly looking after the admission and administration of more than 500 international students, more than 100 students studying under various full-time programs of GTU from across 43 countries around the globe. GTU ensures the best learning and living environment for all international students, along with the essence of a strong socio-cultural experience, making them truly a global citizen. Exploring and managing various joint academic programs with foreign universities. Joint events like conferences, workshops, seminars and research projects with foreign universities. Our international activities also focus on Winter School Program, where students from foreign universities visit GTU for short-term study tour. Our exemplary faculty members are the core of this staunch body. Imparting practical and theoretical knowledge in today's day and era is no easy task. More than 21,000 skilled and dedicated faculty members across all the colleges consistently drive themselves to spearhead the responsibility of knowledge sharing. Innovation being in the core of every step we take. GTU has partnered with leading industries to encourage industry-academia knowledge exchange. GTU has more than 150 startup initiatives to encourage the innovative ideas of our students and give them the necessary pillars they crave for. Over 350 patents have been filed and 70+ patents have been published by our affiliated colleges. Integrated Training and Placement Cell conducts campus placements with many reputed firms to deliver industry-ready skilled manpower every year. The training received at GTU enables our students to be the most sought after in their chosen fields. To harness the entrepreneurial skills in the students, GTU Keepsake Welding Research and Skill Development Center, an initiative partnering with Keepsake Engineering Consultancy Private Limited, is being successfully run at LD College of Engineering in Ahmedabad. The center is equipped with workshops with latest facilities for classrooms and actual hands-on training in the field of welding and non-destructive testing. GTU has been recognized for many achievements nationally and internationally. Acknowledged as the best university in internationalization. Ranked in top 60 for 3 consecutive years in one of the most prestigious robotics competition, RoboCon. GTU Robotics Club acquired Best Robotics Lab Setup Award by ICRA, award for the most upcoming university in Western India in 2018. Recognition in Limca Book of Records for celebrating the National Days of 50 countries as a part of the Global Country Study Report. Best Technical University Award at Indian Society for Technical Education for the year 2017. At GTU, we create the leaders of tomorrow with our innovative initiatives. Startup initiatives for the emerging talents. Research centers to provide new innovations and deep insights. Community and co-creation centers. Design and project-based learning system. A changing world where only one thing is constant, and that's innovation. Curating ideas that were never known. Building a new India of innovation and intellect. GTU, the International Innovative University. Your place to move forward.
Hello. Namaskar. Am I audible? Amit?
Yes,
Yes,
I'm audible.
yes, sir.
Clearly audible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So,
Okay.
namaste to all of you. Technology is best when it brings people together. So, with this thought, I, Dr. Vaibhav Bhatt, on behalf of Atal Incubation Center, Gujarat Technological University, welcomes you all to this online session in association with D.Y. Patil International University, Pune. So, first of all, I welcome Professor Naveen Seth, sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Gujarat Technological University, Ahmedabad. I also welcome Professor Prabhat Ranjan, sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor, D.Y. Patil International University, Pune. I welcome all participants who are present in the event. We are pleased to introduce Atal Incubation Center, GTU Innovation and Startup Center Foundation, which is promoted by Gujarat Technological University and supported by Atal Innovation Mission, NITI Aayog, Government of India. Atal Incubation Center at Gujarat Technological University has been established to nurture the ideas into viable enterprise startups with specific focus on healthcare, medical devices, and biotechnology and other allied areas. So we are regularly conducting such type of events to promote and induce entrepreneurship spirit among the students and innovators. We are here to help young startups and innovative minds. If you have any idea which has some market potential, please come to us. We'll provide financial, technical, and legal support to nurture your idea into viable product. As in GIC vertical, we have more than 400 startups registered with us in different domain areas. So with this, I'll not take much of your time. And I'm sure that at the end of this event, you will definitely benefit it with our today's eminent speaker, Professor Ranjan. So thank you all. Before we move further, as a tradition of GTU, I request Ms. Dhwani to play GTU song. Dhwani, madam.
GTU, समुचित ज्ञान समन्वय GTU, समुचित ज्ञान समन्वय जन कल्याण का अडिग हिमालय गुजरात तकनीकी विश्वविद्यालय GTU, समुचित ज्ञान समन्वय GTU, समुचित ज्ञान समन्वय इनोवेशन की मशाल उठाए ज्ञान को चारों ओर फैलाए विश्वकर्मा की कृपा को पाकर विश्व फलक पर शान बढ़ाए नवीनता की खुशबू से जो भारत का कण कण महकाए ज्ञान पिपासु शिष्य वृंद की तपो साधना सफल बनाए GTU, समुचित ज्ञान समन्वय GTU, समुचित ज्ञान समन्वय अनुभवी शिक्षक कौशल बढ़ाएं परहित का ही पाठ पढ़ाएं अनुसंधान और ज्ञान का संगम भावी पीढ़ी उज्जवल बनाए आत्मनिर्भर युवा बने और शिक्षित विकसित राष्ट्र कहाए गौरव माता पिता का बढ़ाए हर मन में विश्वास जगाए GTU, समुचित समुचित ज्ञान समन्वय। विकास का यही क्रम दोहराए, जीटीयू को सर्वश्रेष्ठ बनाए, हासिल करके उच्च सफलता शिक्षा जगत में क्रांति लाए। सिद्धपुर सोमनाथ सूरत से कच्छ तलक फैला ज्ञानालय, अपार संजोए संभावना गुजरात तकनीकी विश्वविद्यालय। जीटीयू जीटीयू समुचित ज्ञान समन्वय। जीटीयू जीटीयू समुचित ज्ञान समन्वय। जन कल्याण का अडिग हिमालय गुजरात तकनीकी विश्वविद्यालय। जीटीयू जीटीयू समुचित ज्ञान समन्वय। जीटीयू जीटीयू समुचित ज्ञान समन्वय।
Thank you, Dwani. Now I request Professor Naveen Seth, sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Gujarat Technological University, to give an inaugural speech for this event. Over to you, Seth, sir.
Namaskar, I am audible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Namaskar, good afternoon. Respected the Vice Chancellor of D.Y. Patil University, Sri Dr. Prabhat Ranjan, Dr. Vaibhav Bhatt, all those who join virtually, I heartily welcome all of you in this jointly organized program under the GTU and D.Y. Patil University and our Design Incubation Center and the Atal Incubation Center of the GTU. So the very first, I congratulate Vaibhav and team for organizing this important webinar with an important topic, and we have many experts with us in this important topic of the Technology Vision 2035 and potential for innovation. Gujarat Technological University, that is state university established by the government of Gujarat and just completed the 12 years. This university, compared to the other conventional university, working with a different style. Most of the university, they are focusing on the enrollment of the students, examination and the giving the degree. But my university is doing all this work, but it is equally focused on innovation, on cultural activity and sports activity, IPR activity, and we have a dedicated team for all these things. So our innovation center, we have incubated till date 409 incubating, and we have given financial support up to 4 crore rupees totally. And out of this 409, 57 our incubatee, they have established their companies and they are registered with the Government of India in DIPP. So it is the highest number, and that's why, and last year by the ERA, our university in a state university rank, our rank nationally, we have the 5th in number. In Gujarat, we are the first. We have also received the grant from the Education Ministry for Design Incubation Center, and our university is the first university which introduced the design technology, design thinking as a compulsory subjects in all stream of the technology. So our is the largest university, and our jurisdiction is all over the Gujarat, total 500 colleges all engineering colleges, polytechnic, pharmacy, MBA, they are affiliated with my university. And we have the 17,000 and teachers totally, including from affiliated colleges, and about 5 lakh students enrolled with my university. And we are continuously arranging such type of the webinar during this lockdown also. Number of innovation, particularly to knock down the lockdown. Our students are highly active and they have introduced the different products to mitigate the effect of the COVID-19.
Hello.
A national forum, it help the universities and the educational institutes, particularly for establishing the infrastructure required for the all such digital platforms, digital means teaching and learning pedagogy in this new era. So the vision for 2035, really the last year means it is the 31st day of this 2020. We have a lot of changes and affect the all sectors throughout the world, and educational sector is highly affected. But due to the using of the technology, most of even 6th, 9th month, I think all colleges, schools are stopped, locked. But all of it is suddenly our whole pedagogy is changed. Even previously, only 3% teachers, we have one survey that 3% teachers they are using the digital platform. But now 100% teachers they use this digital platform, means a transformation, total transformation. And examination is there, the teaching learning is there really, and it is only and only possible by this digital platform. So technology is very important part. Innovation and technology both are the two sides of a same coin. And in the new year 2021, definitely the artificial intelligence, augmented reality, and all this IoT, really they will be more and more used by our uh, teachers in all by educational institutes, and we will also achieve many more targets by using this technology. So again, I warm welcome to the today's experts, Vice Chancellor Mr. Dr. Prabhat Ranjan of the DY Patil University. We are very eager to hear Dr. Patil's, Dr. Prabhat Ranjan ji. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your kind words. So before we move to main session, I'd like to introduce Professor Prabhat Ranjan, sir. Professor Ranjan is a nuclear fusion scientist, a futurist, an educator, an innovator, an entrepreneur, and a science communicator. From 2013 to 18, he was handling India's technology think tank, PIFC, in Delhi as its executive director. Currently, he is serving as an honorable vice chancellor at DY Patil International University. He has done PhD in physics from University of California in 1986. He has very good connections in Gujarat also. He was there in Gujarat from 1995 to 2013, almost 18 years. So, and his research area is wireless sensor networks and embedded systems, nuclear fusion, planetary exploration, and many more. He has many awards and recognitions in his credit. He has visited dozens of countries and shared their expertise. He is serving as a member of various external boards, committees, and the list of his achievements is very long. So I take this opportunity to invite Professor Ranjan to address the audience. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me try to share the document. Oh. Before that, I would like to thank Honorable Vice Chancellor Dr. Seth. As was mentioned, I have a long relationship with Gujarat. My house is still in Gandhinagar. I don't have any house anywhere else. So if I'm not in job, I would be back to Gandhinagar, or if I'm working in Gandhinagar nearby, of course, that also is there. But right now in Pune, from 95 to 2013, I was working in Gujarat, and then I moved to Delhi and now in Pune. So today's talk would be on Technology Vision 2035, as was mentioned. This is the document, Technology Vision 2035. This, I would talk about it, this was released by Prime Minister in 2016 January. We are almost completing 5 years of this. Let me first share my slides, and then we can proceed further on this. Can you see the slides?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So the title I have given to this talk is Technology Vision 2035, Potential for Innovation. As Honorable Vice Chancellor Dr. Seth mentioned, that technology innovation are two sides of the same coin. And this year, 2020, we have seen tremendous changes that have happened because of something forced upon us. This Technology Vision 2035 is a follow-up document of another document that my previous organization prepared, Technology Vision 2020. The organization's name is TIFAC. People know it is TIFAC. So when you spell it out, people don't recognize it's called TIFAC. The previous document, Technology Vision 2020, was released in 1996. That time, Dr. Kalam was our chairman. And today, we are the last day of that year 2020. So we had visualized certain things for the country. But it was felt that because of technological changes and various things, TIFAC must prepare another document. I was fortunate to be part of that exercise. And we came up with a document, Technology Vision 2035, which was released, as I mentioned, by Honorable Prime Minister on January 3, 2016. And next 3 days, we are going to complete 5 years of that document being released. So let me proceed. This document, the Prime Minister wrote the foreword to this document. He also launched it. And plus, in 2017, November, Prime Minister's office took a decision to actually ask all the ministries and government departments to take the agenda forward that has been set in this document. And Niti Aayog was given the responsibility for taking care of the coordination of all this effort. So in 2018, I made a presentation in Niti Aayog with all the ministries represented there, especially the science and technology ministries, the 13 of them that are related. And the agenda was taken up there for further follow-up. When we prepared Technology Vision 2020, we had worked in 16, 17 different sectors. The first thing that we did was to actually do a retrospection of where we stand with respect to the document we had made and released in 1996. So if you compare India's progress with respect to that document, we have divided the India's progress into 4 groups: Galloping India, Cantering India, Trotting India, and Walking India. So we have compared this to horses motion. The Galloping India, the leftmost one, is the one where India has progressed beyond what we had imagined. Cantering India, where we have done along the line of expectation. Trotting India is where we have done slightly bad, and walking India is where we have done very poor. So just to take examples, galloping India, the three in the middle, you are not able to probably see them clearly. It is space, atomic energy, and missiles. These are the areas we have galloped. Bottom one is life sciences, pharma sector, and India has galloped partly because of government policy and the private sector's innovation that happened. And this year particularly has seen the role of pharma sector tremendously has come into picture. The top one in that is the information and communication technology sector, where we have galloped. Part of this happened because of technological changes that were happening globally, from which India gained and India have contributed. It was both a process. If I come to the last part of this, the Walking India part, the bottom of that, Walking India is the bad part of the story. We have waterways. Waterways, it was visualized that 8 to 9% of passenger and goods traffic will happen through waterways. But actually, for 18 years, nothing happened. When we prepared this document and handed over to Prime Minister's office, action started to happen. Mr. Nitin Gadkari took over the responsibility of increasing the waterways, and 111 waterways were planned. Out of that, last time when I looked at the data, 13 have already been made operational. There's the area of advanced sensors where we are still very poor. There's hardly any indigenization. And then, of course, there's a lot of problem with healthcare sector that has still remained, and India is lagging behind in those. I'll not go into too much detail here. Let me skip these. When we're preparing this document, one of the questions that we asked that what should be the objective for such a document? Effectively, what we are trying to do is to design India's future. So we discuss various things. Normally, when we talk about progress of a country, we talk about GDP, we talk about, like currently Prime Minister is talking about 5 trillion economy. So should we talk about India becoming a 42 trillion economy? Should we talk about India becoming larger than the US economy and so on and so forth? We decided that we will not talk about money, we will not talk about who is poor, who is rich, because these are statistics. And you can have, for example, rich can become richer and poor can become poorer. The statistics will show you that we have done grown. We decided that we will not focus on money, we will not try to focus on defining who is poor, who is rich, but rather we will try to define on focusing on the quality of life of each Indian. So if I compare Technology Vision 2020 and with respect to Technology Vision 2035, Technology Vision 2020 focused on developing India as a country. Dr. Kalam, in his last breath, talked about developed India. Last I heard him was 2015. Unfortunately, the same year we lost him. 2013, when I met him, he requested me that we still have 7 years for 2020. Please make sure that India progresses to the dream that we had set. Of course, we're already working on another document. And this document, Technology Vision 2035, changed the paradigm. We moved from developed India to developing Indians. India to Indians, we made that change. That's a big change, and we will see. So the whole document starts with talking about Indians. Our focus is on we, the citizens of India. Indians in 2035, what are our needs? And actually, we have tried to define what is meant by quality of life. We have defined 12 prerogatives. These are the parameters by which we have tried to define the quality of life. The top 6 are individual prerogatives, bottom 6 are collective. Again, I'm not going to go into details of these. Each of these prerogatives, actually, we have defined 1.5 pages in the document where we have mentioned about certain broad targets and certain focused targets for the country to be realized by 2035. For example, if I take one of them, it talks about quality education, livelihood, and creative opportunities. Since we are an education institute, I thought I'll just mention 1 or 2 lines out of this. It talks about to achieve 100% literacy, including operating knowledge of devices, instruments, and machines. Today, we have realized more than any other year that being able to operate computers, being able to operate mobile phones, and so on are as important as being able to read and write a book. So this has become, this was very important. We had visualized this, that this should be part of that. Another issue is delivery of language neutral content to all individuals at the press of a button. This, we feel that India is a diverse country with multiple languages. And actually, child, especially in the early stage, must have access to all the content in the language of their choice. The last part of this talks about teachers will remain central to education. However, they would become navigators and pathfinders, counselors in confidence. The role of teacher changes. The teacher will no longer be the source of knowledge. Teacher has a different role, and what we can say, the teacher is no longer the sage on the stage. Teacher is the guide on the side. The role of teacher changes. It's no longer the teacher who is just giving all the knowledge and the students are lapping it up. Actually, because today the source of knowledge is tremendous, we have access to information from across the world. Each of the prerogatives, we have a technology table that has been defined to identify which technology are important to fulfill that particular prerogative. It has 4 columns. The leftmost column is technology which is ready to deploy. That means technology which is available off the shelf within the country or outside the country, but not being used on large scale. Second column is technology which needs to go from lab to field. This is the weakness of the country, where most of the work we do is linked to papers and publication, and we don't take it forward to the next level. And that's where Atal Incubation Center, Atal Innovation Cells, these are playing very important role. The third column is technology which is targeted development. And actually, when I talked about retrospection technology vision 2020, I talked about 3 areas where we gallop: space, atomic energy, missiles. Each of these, our targets are very clear. For example, we wanted to reach to moon, we wanted to reach to Mars. There was no confusion on that. Wherever we have set targets for the country, we have achieved and succeeded our expectations. But most of the areas, we do not do what needs to be done. Rather, what we try to do is what we can do. So most of the students will do PhD, for example. They will try to add incremental values to their work throughout their life. They will not try to look at what problem needs to be solved. Rather, they try to make it easy for themselves. Personally, in my life, I have been problem focused. I have not worried about paper publications. The third, actually, in fact, this third column, which is targeted development, there were 60 of them mentioned in this document. Out of that, Niti Aayog has taken 20 of them to be supported. The last column is very interesting, and that's where my talk is going to be focused on. This is technology in imagination. We thought we'll put those technologies which we thought may happen in 15, 20 years, may not happen at all, very, very uncertain. We put all that in technology in imagination. In fact, before I proceed, very interesting thing happened that before we finished writing this document and handing over the document to Prime Minister's office, that took about 1 to 1.5 years time. Some of this technology imagination started to happen. Two trends are very clear. One is that technology is happening at a much faster pace than we expect. Second is technology diffusion is also happening at a much faster pace. This also means technology obsolescence is also extremely high. This is very, very important for current generation to understand that today what you learn, in fact, by the time you enter the college and maybe you have 4 years time, by the time you graduate, you will find that technology has changed. And we have seen this happening this year. From January 1st, 2020 to 31st December 2020 is a massive change in the way we are communicating. A lot of good things happen. Unfortunately, a lot of lives have been lost. People have been affected. Families destroyed. Industry destroyed. But on the other hand, today I'm able to connect to you through this, and not only to you, every day, alternate day, I'm connecting to various people in the country or outside the country without the distance being a barrier, without the cost being a barrier. So, in addition to the 12 prerogatives, we have also defined 10 grand challenges for the country. I'll just read out the first one. It says guaranteeing nutritional security and eliminating female and child anemia. And I put this right on top. Number 1 challenge, grand challenge 1. 60 to 70% of women are anemic. 25 to 30% children are anemic. And fortunately, Government of India took this agenda forward. They launched 2 missions. One is Anemia Mukt Bharat campaign, other is Nutrition India campaign. Both of these came out of the Grand Challenge 1. Similarly, we also had a Grand Challenge which was taking to railway to Leh and Tawang. And actually, the government took this agenda forward, and actually, in addition to Leh and Tawang, 2 more areas were added to in the northeast. So 4 railway lines are being under construction. So many of the things that we have mentioned in this document, the government has taken enough forward. This document is not in isolation. It is supported by 12 more documents. For example, starting with education, medical science, healthcare, and so on. Out of these, 6 were released during my tenure, and a couple of more have been released after that. I put education right on the top because I felt that education is the key to success of the country. And that was one of the reasons I wanted to come back to education sector. Now, let me go focus on the technology and imagination part. That is the main focus of this, to actually bring to your attention the kind of technology that is likely to happen. And that's where we need to innovate. So, for example, some of you might have heard of Hyperloop technology. When in 2014 we put this in the book, the document, Mr. Nitin Gadkari invited us to talk about a technology. Hyperloop was one of them. And he actually took the agenda forward and actually met Elon Musk, invited him to come to India and try to set up this. He offered to provide Mumbai to Pune as a test area for this purpose. Those of you who are not aware, Hyperloop is a technology by which you can move at 1200 kilometers per hour, which is even faster than the civilian aircraft, like 800 to 900 kilometers is civilian aircraft. In this, actually, we can move much, much faster. So, for example, Delhi to Mumbai, if I have to cover, it takes about 2 hours by flight. We can actually cover that in 80 minutes. Today, we have bullet trains are expected from Ahmedabad to Mumbai, and Hyperloop, which is much, much faster than that, 2 to 3 times faster than Hyperloop. Sorry, 2 to 3 times than the bullet train. And the interesting thing is the Hyperloop is being tried in different countries, and in India also this work is going on, and nobody knows which country is going to be the first. But we are in the race for this kind of technology. So India may get its first Hyperloop from Vijayawada to Amravati, which is 42 kilometers, which can be covered in only 6 minutes. Similarly, Mumbai to Pune plan has been there, which can take only about 25 minutes to cover this distance. There's another concept of hyperchariot, which can move at 4,000 miles per hour, so about 6,400, 6,500 kilometers per hour. Inventor of this concept actually said that I'm in Los Angeles, and he gave example of Agra, Taj Mahal. But I want to see Taj Mahal, I should be able to go to Agra in 2 hours and see the Taj Mahal and come back in evening. Like they start in the morning from there and reach here, and then see the Taj Mahal and go back. So this hyperchariot is another technology. We don't know when it will come, but maybe 2040 is expected thing, but it can even happen earlier. As Honorable Vice Chancellor Dr. Seth mentioned, we are starting to see augmented reality, virtual reality as part of education sector. Is going to grow more and more so due to this COVID situation, which has accelerated the adoption of some of these technologies. For example, you can see this augmented reality training being done to this student is taking the training. Artificial intelligence is coming in a big way in the education sector, where actually customized and adaptive learning is becoming order of the day. It was like bringing in the Guru Shish Parampara, where Guru used to actually monitor each child personally and customize things for their purpose. It was no longer a 4-year course or 3-year course that you go out with. The Guru had to be satisfied that whatever knowledge the Guru had to give is already transferred to the student before they go out. So AI is bringing this technology into picture where we will have customized learning for each child based on their capability. Vertical multi-layer farming, just like we have multi-story buildings where we started to stay. Actually, this multi-layer farming is a game changer again. In the same area of land, you can grow 40 to 300 times more crop. You don't need a fertile land. There is no soil used in most of these. It's all hydroponic or aeroponic based system. There's no sunlight used. Actually, use artificial light to grow it much faster. You save 90% of the water. No pesticides used, and you can actually grow crops very close to consumption center. Technology like artificial leaves turns sunlight and carbon dioxide into fuel more efficiently, just like our natural trees do. Similarly, artificial trees have come. Artificial trees which can capture carbon at 1,000 times more efficiency than that of natural tree. In fact, I was also involved with India's climate change commitments, and we brought all this technology in our thought process. Another very interesting thing that has come in the news recently, but I've been promoting this in India for a long time, that is trying to grow meat without animal. So normally, for example, Gujarat, a significantly large percentage of people are vegetarian. Actually, and that's because many people believe that killing an animal to eat is not the right thing to do, and they do not take animal meat. But today it's possible that within the lab you can grow through cell culture, or it's also called cellular agriculture. You can grow a meat which does not involve any animal. You take the cell of animal and do through cell culture, you can grow this, and the final product is the same meat that you get through animal, but the process is different. There is no life involved. So we don't even know should we call it vegetarian, should we call it non-vegetarian. And my experience in Gujarat and Gandhinagar was that people do not eat, for example, eggs in the home, but outside you will see there's a lot of stalls where people are selling these things. So will people start accepting these as a new form of meat which does not involve life, and start eating? And a state like Gujarat this may have acceptance. Recently in Singapore, for example, this has been given go ahead. So now the government has permitted the sale of this. I've been in touch with a gentleman, Dr. Umawaleti, who is in US. He's an Indian cardiologist, but he's spent last 12 years to develop this technology, and his company is Memphis Meat. 2 years ago, I visited him, and he had also come to India. We met Mrs. Menka Gandhi, and we talked about this, and I had also organized an event in Delhi on this. So this is another technology area which is going to become very important. All of you have become familiar with 3D printing technology today. But 4 or 5 years back, when we were promoting this, many people are not familiar. Today, of course, it's become very familiar. People have become familiar. Your incubation centers have these facilities. But we can print houses and so on. Like this house was printed in 1 month's time. There are houses that you can build a 1-bedroom house in 24 hours and so on. So this has become very important as well. 3D printing technology has not only affected the housing sector or other sectors, it is affecting everything. It is affecting also the classroom. Even cooking classes, it can be used. Geography classes can be used. Chemistry classes can be used. Architecture class can be used. Graphic design students can use it. So 3D printing is revolutionizing the classroom as well. Similarly, you can produce bones and cartilage using 3D printers. In fact, just yesterday, day before yesterday, one of my finance officer's son had a fracture. He fell down. Now, when we have fracture, we put plaster of Paris, very heavy thing. Today, it's possible to use 3D printers and actually create a designer look-alike, designer cast, which is lightweight. It has breathing space, and not only that, you can actually feed ultrasound to this and actually heal the bones much, much faster. So this is the promise of 3D printing technology. Even you can print organs. The next 8 to 9 years, we're expecting organs to be printed. Heart and blood vessels can be printed. Even organs for human transplant are now being grown inside sheep and pigs. So actually, as you might be aware that for human transplant, the organs are very much in short supply. There are lakhs of people waiting to get this transplant, and many of them lose their life. So today it's starting to become possible that you can grow organs inside sheep and pigs and then harvest that organ for saving human life. Similarly, it has been possible to create artificial womb. So, for example, this particular baby sheep, you can see that it has been kept in this artificial womb, which is called biobag, for about 1 month's time. So tomorrow it's likely that we can also have human babies in this, and they can grow inside this just like mothers have to carry this. Similarly, human sperms have been grown in the lab. Human eggs have been grown in the lab. So with sperm, eggs, womb, and so on, is it going to be that we will see the change in the way reproduction is done? Will we start to see human baby being produced in the lab? And that's going to completely change the way human species is growing. I've worked on brain-computer interface. In fact, first time in Gujarat, first time in India, probably in 2011, I demonstrated that how I could use brainwaves and operate things, which has helped many people in their life. So brain-computer interface is starting to become very important, and there's a debate on whether we would likely to have consciousness in a robot or not. In 2015, I had discussed, I had a workshop on this. We talked about future of brain. It's there on the YouTube. You can see that. And personally, when I developed this technology in Gujarat, in Gandhinagar, actually, I've helped many people. One of the examples is Mr. Suresh here, who was actually, I am Ahmedabad MBA, but in 93 graduated, 99 he had a brain stem stroke. He lost his hand movement, he lost his leg movement, he lost his voice. He went into what is called locked-in condition. And through brain-computer interface, after 99, after 13 years, we could make him operate things, type on computers and so on. And all of this, he is using it till now. He types and writes his blog regularly. He cannot even sit for a long time on a wheelchair. He has to lie down because of his condition. So these kind of technologies are coming in. In 2015, I had also mentioned in Delhi during the event on Future of Brain that in about 2018, we expect to see human memory prosthetics. That means you can add memory to your brain, like my memory is less. I can add additional memory, just like we had pen drive, and move ahead with additional memory. Same thing I had predicted that in 2018 will happen. And actually, you can see news came in 2018 that for the first time ever, scientists boosted human memory with a brain implant. And this means that we should be able to add memory, and not only add memory, tomorrow it may be possible that we add knowledge. So just like you are listening to me today, tomorrow you would say that, okay, I will all my knowledge, I will put in directly in my brain. I don't have to listen to teachers or read books. I can directly transfer everything into my brain through a pen drive, which has all that knowledge. Similarly, the machine and body interface is happening. For example, this gentleman has a tattooing machine attached to his body when he lost his arm. Human immortality is likely to happen through digital way. So we might achieve digital immortality. I am personally working on Avatar C, which is expected to happen in 2030, 2035. I'm trying to create Dr. Kalam's replica, digital replica. And this would be an avatar with an artificial brain in which a human personality is transferred at the end of one's life. So when my biological body is giving up, I'm transferred to a digital body, and that will carry forward my knowledge, my brain will remain alive, even though my biological body is no longer there. So I'll leave out this part. Another interesting thing that is happening is that we are likely to see more of a space-related activity happening. And one of the reasons for this is a lot of huge wealth that is lying in the outer space. So, for example, according to NASA estimate, the mineral wealth that is resident in the belt of asteroids, these asteroids are in between Mars and Jupiter. There's so much mineral wealth that you divide among all the people on the earth, everybody will get $100 billion. So whenever I give this talk, I always tell people that please don't ask me when it is coming in my bank account. I don't have any guarantee for that bank account, just like we've been asking our Prime Minister. So this $100 billion is only an estimate to show you the kind of wealth that is lying there. And obviously people will want to reach out, and you might have seen that a lot of private activity in the space sector is happening. Government of India is also promoting a space sector through private entities in India right now. A number of space-related companies have been set up now, and some of them are starting to see good success. Recently, government has set up an entity to promote this effort. For example, this particular space rock has a value of $10,000 quadrillion, and it's a huge wealth. And similarly, there are others, and NASA is trying to reach there. Japan has recently gone to one such asteroid, brought some samples back, and so on. So this effort is going on. When we try to go to these places, sometimes some of these take 10 years, 15 years, 20 years time. If as a human being, if I have to go there, I'm very costly because I need food and many other things. Unlike robots, which we can put in power mode off and they can go there and then we can put them on. But human beings are very costly. Only way we can actually compete with robots if we can hibernate ourselves, just like our computer, laptop, and so on. They can go into hibernation of some kind or power off mode. We need to learn how to hibernate, and technological work is going on. Typically, you can actually put a person in hibernation for several hours, and then you can continue several days through multiple cycles. So it's not that you can continuously put a person in hibernation for several days. You do multiple cycles. That means they go into hibernation, they need to bring back, again hibernate, and so on. This way, people have been kept in hibernation for several days, and sometimes it's very important for therapeutic purposes. But traditionally, we have known about people who claim that they have had no food or drink for 70 years and they have survived. And there are many such claims. Can we learn from that, or can we learn from animals who can hibernate? This is Japan asteroid mission, which is brought sample back in this particular year in 2020. NASA asteroid mission is also there. We're also starting to see a project like Starlink, which, for example, Elon Musk has done, where he's covering the sky by almost thousands of small satellites. And this is providing some kind of a cloud coverage of the whole globe. And he's already started testing this in US, where he's providing 160 megabits internet link. And he said that if he gets approval by June 2021, we will have this in India also. So this is the Starlink. Another technology that personally I'm involved with, and I was at Gujarat for this purpose. I was at Institute of Plasma Research. Before that, I was in Calcutta at Science Institute of Nuclear Physics, and before that in US at Lawrence Berkeley Lab. We were working on nuclear fusion. So till 2002, I was working full time on nuclear fusion. And actually, IPR is the main center for nuclear fusion research in the country. And Gandhinagar per se has the ITER project, which India is participating, being built in France. Actually, that center is also ITER India project is in Gandhinagar. So Gandhinagar itself is center for nuclear fusion research in the country right now. And a lot of new things are happening. And I've just mentioned this. I'll not go into the details, but as you might be aware that nuclear fusion is the way that we're trying to capture sun into a box. And interestingly, 100 years ago, this whole exercise started when Arthur Eddington declared that nuclear fusion is the process by which stars gets its energy. And the same year, Dr. Meghna Saha gave the Saha ionization equation, which is considered to be the start of plasma physics. And when we try to create nuclear fusion, actually we first try to transfer the state of the matter into plasma state. And so Saha ionization equation and Arthur Eddington's work 100 years ago, we started this whole activity. And so we are in 2020. And let me leave out this part. Well, one of the concepts that we had worked in Gandhinagar and which is still being worked upon, there are 2 reactors there right now operational in Gandhinagar, which are based on what the concept of something called tokamak. I'll not go into details of these, but hundreds of tokamaks have been built, large scientific base. ITER project is going on, which is expected to become operational by end of 2025. In fact, their deadline is 31st December 2025, 5 years from today. And then by 2035, they expect to produce energy through deuterium and tritium reaction. But something more interesting is happening actually. The number of technological developments that are happening. So what you see on the right side top is the ITER project as compared to other machines, which are much smaller compared to that. A huge machine that is being now assembled. I will. One more thing I wanted to mention here is that you compare all of us are familiar with the Moore's law. The red line here is the Moore's law. The blue line is figure of merit of nuclear fusion. And you will see that nuclear fusion has made tremendous progress similar to Moore's law, which is just simply not recognized that way. So due to certain technological advancements, especially in the area of high temperature superconducting materials, high field magnets, suddenly it is starting to see as if we will be able to achieve nuclear fusion for energy purposes much, much faster than we expected. And that's why investment in privately funded fusion sectors has grown by leaps and bounds over the last 10 years. And I will giving you some examples here. $200 to $300 million, sometimes $750 million has been invested. And I'm happy to announce that some US investors based out of Silicon Valley have approached me, and they're going to fund a project in India to develop nuclear fusion technology. We have codenamed that project Sunlan. Sunlan stands for fusion. So nuclear fusion in Sanskrit is or Hindi is Navikiya Sunlan. And so we have codenamed this project Sunlan. And we have made the announcement that by early 2021, we'll be starting this project. Initially, the work will be done in my university in Pune. And then later on, we will actually shift to a place which will set up the physical thing. But initial design and planning work will be done by university. We've already started that work on that. We are hiring people for this purpose. And one of the important role in this is the role of high temperature superconducting magnets. That is a key technology which has become a game changer. In addition to the standard nuclear fusion that we use through tokamak, there are other concepts that have also come in. I'll not go into those. So this is the first private initiative, Project Sunlight is the first private initiative of this kind in India, in a very, very uncertain field with long period of development. So it's very surprising. I made this announcement on December 3 in Bihar Science Conference. And this is, we expect that not only we'll work on energy, but also to develop medical isotopes and also work on space propulsion. In fact, yesterday we had meeting with global experts on a space propulsion part. Towards the end of my talk, I'll also try to bring up some societal and cultural issues which are very important for innovation purposes. One of them is that from home, actually, we bias children against physical labors. We don't let them work with hands. We ignore labs in the school. Hardware-based work in college is ignored. This limits the possibility of innovation. Engineers do not want to work in the factory. Everybody wants to sit in an AC room. They don't want to go to shop floor. This affects our manufacturing. It affects our innovation potential. So personally, I have been promoting something called one-in-one. That is, we should encourage children to work with hand at least 1 hour in 1 week, things which we consider dirty, so that we can bridge this gap between hand and mind that has been created. You go to US, you'll do everything yourself. And Corona period, we saw this in lockdown period. We didn't have anybody to help. We had to do everything, cooking, cleaning, everything we had to do ourselves. That's the kind of challenge that we have. Personally, I've grown a Gurukul kind of a school with the age of 10. I used to live in ashram, which do all the things ourselves, cleaning dishes, cleaning toilets, cleaning floors. That's all the routine, everything. So for personally, it has been a tremendous advantage. I can do all of these things myself, but most of our children, we don't encourage them to do this. Another thing that I'll not go into details, but it's the competitive spirit. We must make our children learn to cooperate with each other and not simply compete with each other. So our group teamwork is very poor as a society. And Sam Pitroda said once that if you take one Indian, that one Indian is going to give you more than work output, more than 10 Americans. But you put 10 Indians together and they will do less than one American. So that's the challenge. The teamwork has to be promoted from day one. So both of these, working with hand and team spirit, has to be inculcated among children from home itself. That's very important. I also wanted to mention that I'm chairman of a committee which AICT is setting up idea labs. Plan is to set up 100 idea labs across the country in this financial year by 31st March 2021. And AICT will provide 55 lakh matching grant to set up idea lab, which will have things like 3D printer, laser, and so on, kind of thing that you have altered tinkering lab. It's except a higher version of that. It is something that will allow students to convert idea into prototype and then from there to commercialize it. So this, we have finalized everything, and 1st January, this scheme is going to be launched on the new year. And you might have received certain notification from AICT. It is going, so you can join this, and if you want, you can actually participate in this. And AICT is willing to give up to 55 lakh matching grant to set up these idea labs. 21st Century Education Institute, like Gujarat Technological University or my university, D.Y. Patil International University in Akurdi area of Pune, is a 21st Century Education Institute. And I was also in Gandhinagar, Dhirubhai Ambani Institute of Information and Communication Technology that was set up in 2001. That was the first private university of Gujarat. And actually many changes we did. And those we have actually learned from those things, and actually have incorporated many of those changes that we brought in and brought new ideas also into my university. And that has led to many changes happening across the country. So for example, 2019, when we started BTech Computer Science Engineering program, it led to, in fact, AICT appreciated our program, formed a committee to revamp the computer science engineering curriculum of the country. I was part of the committee. And in 2020, number of programs that were approved by AICT were influenced by what we did in 2019. So 21st Century Education Institute had to be very innovative. This is a book written by Dr. Arvind Kurchatkar, who was the director of DICT Gandhinagar. He was also Director General of PDPU. And he talked about this in his book. But we need to identify, and more so in the corona period, that future is digital. Okay. Today, actually, the digital health revolution is taking place. Digital manufacturing is taking place. Future of business is digital. Digital supply chain transformation is taking place. Digital finance is taking place. In fact, today we hardly carry cash. I feel very comfortable. Somebody uncomfortable. Somebody asks for cash. Culture is digital. Fashion is digital, and so actually we have to work with digital future. Personally, in DY Patil International University, we had realized this when we set up. I'm the founder, vice chancellor. We brought all of this into our curriculum in the system, and of course, 2020 forced us to go digital in all the different ways. And as Honorable Vice Chancellor was mentioning that earlier, only 3% faculty members were comfortable using online systems. Today, 100% of them are doing that. Personally, of course, I was very comfortable with all of this. Even 5 years ago, I used to Zoom to actually connect with various trainees that we used to run a training program and so on. So today, future is digital. To end my talk, the technology is happening at a faster rate than we expect. Technology foresight is more important than the past. The document like Technology Vision 2035 is very, very important for us to look at. Innovation backed by IPR protection is going to be critical for India to move ahead in knowledge-led society of 21st century. This is very important. We need to learn how to protect our intellectual property, how to convert our intellectual property into commercial success. And Technology Vision 2035 can serve to set the direction to guide nation in meeting the aspirations of young mind. We need to prepare for major disruptions in all aspects of life, like we have seen in 2020. Education system has to respond quickly to the changes, like we have done in the March when we had lockdown, so on. Suddenly, everybody was at a loss, but quickly we geared up and responded to that. So today, all the education in the country is happening through online process. New education policy of Minister of HRD, now it's Ministry of Education, seems to be a step in the right direction. And then other point that I wanted to mention is that role of private investment is very, very important in both research and education. In the coming year, we're starting to see this in a space. We're starting to see this in fusion, nuclear fusion, as I mentioned. And for the first time in the country, we are seeing the most challenging scientific mission of realizing nuclear fusion for energy purpose. We are getting investment to do it in India. And personally, I'm very glad that I'm involved with this. So I'll stop this talk here and see if there are any questions that people may have to ask for this. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. Session is open for questions. Thank you very much, sir, for sharing views of Technology Vision 2035. And we are surprised to hear about future technologies like hyperloop, multi-layer farming, meat without animals, 3D printed organs, artificial worms, additional entry to human brain, Ankara project, and human hibernation. Actually, we have seen these things in Bollywood movies. We can't imagine this to our routine life, but after this, I'm sure our future will be full of technologies which will solve real life problems of the society. So, with this, I'm again thankful to you. Abid, can you please give the vote of thanks?
Yeah, good evening to everyone. Thank you very much, Professor Prabhat Ranjan sir, for giving your valuable time and kind words and enlighten us with the vision of Technology Vision 2035. I must say it is started by Prabhat Ranjan sir, and it was inaugurated or released in 2015 when sir was executive director in TIFAC. And we are very delighted, sir, that we have came to know about all these visions and technologies which are going to be developed in 2035 in the nation. We request all the participants to, if they have any questions, please put in the chat box. Also, I'm very thankful to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, Professor Naveen Seth, sir, for giving his time. All my colleagues, all the staff of our university for making this event a successful event. Thank you very much and Happy New Year to all.
I request all the participants to turn on their camera for photograph, group photograph. All the participants, please turn on your camera.
It is a request to all the participants, please put on your camera so that we can take the screenshot.
Okay.
There are a few questions that participants are asking. If you have time, I can answer some of those.
Yes, sir.
So one question that it says that from Dawal Jan, so you said technology will come, what we want to learn, we can put it in like pen drive in the brain, but you don't think that it will hamper innovation. So think about it. Today, we are learning through online education. Earlier, long back, hundreds of years back, we used to go to Guru's house, ashram, we used to live there. Then now Guru is coming to you in your home through online means. We don't have to go to your Guru's classroom, not to ashram. Similarly, the way we are learning actually, the way we learn is that I'm giving a lecture or showing you something, and then your eyes, your ear, through which you are grasping that, it goes into your brain, and that is the knowledge that I'm transferring from my side to your side. But is it possible that directly from my brain to your brain I can transfer the knowledge? Some of you might have seen PK, was it PK movie, Amir Khan's movie, PK, where Amir Khan lands on Earth from a planet he calls Gula. He does not know any language. And then it is shown in the movie that he holds hand of a lady for 6 hours and then transfers the knowledge of language from her brain to his brain and starts to speak a language. And so that is brain-to-brain transfer. So in fact, you would be surprised to know that some of this experiment has already been done, where experienced pilots, they took 10 experienced pilots, and their experience was transferred to a new pilot, by which they could reduce the time to train the pilot by 33%. So this direct transfer of knowledge from one brain to another can happen in many ways. And I've just given an example that it's like putting knowledge onto a pen drive and putting it into a brain. The way it can be done, of course, is different. And I don't think it will happen innovation because basically just like it is cutting short the process of learning. So it will not hamper innovation. There will be plenty of potential for innovation. Second part, sir, what would be the consequence of AI mindset chip technology by Elon Musk? Personally, I've worked on brain-computer interface, and you would be happy that this was all done in Gujarat, in Gandhinagar. I was the first to demonstrate that I can control things like light and so on by my eye blinks or through my smile, and then I helped a lot of people. There, actually, we used external signals, which was not invasive. We were capturing signal, EEG signal from our skull. But what Elon Musk is doing, and actually it's not the only exercise of this kind. Of course, Elon Musk has the innovative capability and the resources to move faster. But people have been implanting chips inside the brain as well. And then you have much stronger signal and you get access to signal without being distorted. So it is likely that human being will evolve into a human and machine hybrid. And then those who do not want to use this, they will be treated like idiots. So biological human beings will no longer be considered to be smart enough So everybody will want to have, just like you have today without a smartphone, people don't consider smart. So tomorrow you will have chips inside you to make you smarter than the people who don't have chips. So people will start accepting this. There's a question, I'm not sure about nuclear power. I'm not sure what is the question. In India, memory transplant work is going on. I'm not sure. I have not come across this part. But few years ago, 2018, 2019, I had seen global work going on. There's a question, can we think about an education exam system which once a student think about answers, it will be evaluated for his grade. You're wanting to become lazy and lazier. So of course, there may be a way to test knowledge inside your brain directly, so that it's not question of thinking. It may be possible to do this thing. So actually, it will evaluate your brain directly rather than your output of the brain directly. Yes, it may be possible to evaluate you directly. There's a question, don't you think implanting of chip will hamper person independency, like it will monitor the person behavior, which is already happening. For example, we don't realize, but our smartphone and so on, so much of information is flowing about us that it's unimaginable, and that's why we say that data is the new gold or new oil, which is very, very costly. So a lot of money that's being made through data. So data is very important today. For example, smartphones are doing that. So of course, more and more of this is going to happen. In fact, in China, in one city, they are monitoring each person's movement completely, and that influence coming to that. So of course, this is starting to become order of the day. It was no longer the case. You go back 200 years ago, or even less than that, you go to villages, for example, nothing is secret. If wife and husband have a fight, everybody can hear that fight. This whole privacy thing was something that happened when we transferred to city, we become isolated families. So actually tomorrow, the privacy that we feel is there will no longer be there. And so I don't think it's hampering the progress. It will be acceptable. Can knowledge be transferred directly from an anode to cathode of the human mind? I'm not sure what is meant by anode to cathode, but basically from one human mind to another human mind, it can be transferred. So basically human beings will be cyborg in the future. Can say that? Yes, I mentioned that we're likely to become some kind of hybrid of machine and biological system. Okay, again, the anode to cathode part I'm not understanding. But privacy is going to hack also by someone. Okay, so this is already happening. Today, actually, people are able to access certain information we don't want to give out. Sometimes we give it out willingly, and sometimes people hack into our systems, and that's happening all the time. But anyway, there's a comment here, China is the worst in privacy. I have no comments on that. So if there are no further questions, then we can stop here. Thank you for asking all questions. Well, there's a question about if all human beings have chips, then all brain will be the same. It should be a combination of brain and chip. So your brain will be unique, and the chips also can be like our smartphones are all different. Somebody has iPhone, somebody has something else. So I think we'll also be a mixture of brain and machine. It will be different. I think a lot of question. How can someone be the next Elon Musk of the future? You have to think out of box. Do not follow the crowd. That's very, very important. There's a question about funding support for idea-based startup. There are many schemes of the government. If you're talking about it, I cannot give the details. Your innovation center can actually provide this information. When I was in Delhi, I was trying to create a web portal which will bring all the government schemes on one place, but somehow I could not do it. Now, Idea Labs, I'm the chairman of the committee, is being set up all across the country. But AICT also has certain schemes for supporting innovation, and of course, in your university itself, it is there. Sir, can there be something that could change the minds of the people? Of course, I would love to talk about this. There are certain naturopathic techniques that I have learned, but there may be other ways to also do this. For example, there's something called binaural beats, or it's called neuroplasticity of brain that is used to change certain things. You can make people, for example, go into deep sleep, improve the learning process of children and so on. A lot of questions coming in. I think we'll have to have separate session on brain-computer interface and related area. It's very interesting, but I think the fact that I have generated curiosity among a lot of you. As I said, that the role of teacher is changing. We are no longer the source of knowledge. Today, internet is there. You can get access to a lot of information. Just like I have learned, you can go through and follow this. I only wanted to excite these thoughts in your mind. So I think we'll stop here. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. So with this, I conclude the session. Thank you very much, all of you.
Thank you.